Hey, boys and girls. It's time for Uncle Jay Explains the News. Now here's the guy who helps little minds understand big news stories, Uncle Jay.
Hi, boys and girls, and happy spring. Well, there are a lot of mysterious questions going on in the news. For instance, who took all the dog and cat food cans off the shelves? You'd think it had rat poison in it or something. And who decided to pay $500,000 for the private thoughts of someone whose private parts are so public? And most important, will the Supreme Court rule for Jesus or for... let's get right to Uncle Jay's news word for this week, boys and girls. The word is veto. Veto. Now, that is not one of the new characters in the final season of The Sopranos, boys and girls. No, a veto is when Congress passes a new law, but the president decides to have it killed. Maybe it is like The Sopranos. Well, the president says he will veto the new bill that Congress just passed about Iraq. And it's kind of frustrating, boys and girls, because they're just posturing about Iraq. And by now, in the term, you think that they would be actually and seriously posturing about immigration. Well, in other news, it looks like the FCC is going to a new proposal for allowing cell phones on airplanes in flight. Airplanes do not allow that right now, boys and girls, because they have certain technical requirements. Every flight has to have 2 shrieking babies and 3 drunk first-class passengers. The FCC, boys and girls, that's the government group that decides that you can't say certain words on radio and television. For instance, the word that would happen if you tried to pronounce FCC as a word. Don't try it. Well, now, boys and girls, it's time to answer one of your news questions. This week it comes from Amy in Tucson, Arizona. Hi, Amy. Amy writes, Dear Uncle Jay, what is this March Madness thing? I know it's about basketball, but why do grown-ups go so crazy over it? Why does March mean madness? Great question, Amy, and you're right. March is the time when millions of college students watch basketball players who are pretending to be college students. And it might bother you that some of your favorite TV shows get preempted by the games, but it works out, boys and girls, because some of the players who preempt an episode of, say, CSI will be inspiring some of the episodes that happen on next season's CSI. But you know, Amy, you're right. Final Four fever can be a real sickness. And that's why the drug industry is responding with new medications to help people deal with their cravings. Grown-ups should ask their doctor which of the new drugs is right for them. Use only as directed. Well, boys and girls, send your questions about the news to Uncle Jay at UncleJayExplains.com. I'll see you next week when Uncle Jay explains the news. And remember, a good kid is good news.